welcome to another WC Conversation. I'm Patrick Earl, Economic Development Officer for Wheatland County, and today we have as our guest Wendy Gerbrandt, who is the Community Economic Development Officer for Community Futures Wild Rose that operates east of Calgary in our region. Also on the call we have Jamie Gramble, who is our Investment Attraction Specialist in Wheatland County, as well as Jacqueline Buchanan, who is the Economic Development Officer in Kneehill County. Morning, everybody. And so Wendy, how about we just throw it over to you and you can talk about today's topic.
So great. So thank you for having me. So I'm here today just to share some of the information on a succession planning and matching project that will continue to run here for the remainder of 2021 and into the first quarter of 2022. So I'm happy here to share some information on that project and who can participate and what as entrepreneurs you will receive for participating in the program, and as well as just some stats and information that are necessary and to state the need for succession planning here in the region. So I will share my screen.
Sounds good.
One moment here. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yeah, looks good.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. So as Patrick mentioned, I'm with Community Futures Wild Rose. We're located here in Strathmore, and I am the Community Economic Development Officer here for our office and for the CF Wild Rose region. So I'll just give a quick overview of the Community Futures Wild Rose organization. We were established in 1987. And our vision for our organization is full employment in thriving communities. And our mission is to promote, assist, and retain economic development and employment activities and other activities within the region. Community Futures Wild Rose, our region is actually pretty expansive. So Patrick mentioned we are all here east of Calgary. So we basically run from the borders of Chestermere down into this side of the Bow River, just past the community of Bassano. And then we veer on up and we run just east of like the Rosebud Hussar area. And then we continue on north up along the Red Deer River, and we'll go north into the Trochu Torrington area, and then we connect back over to the Highway 2. So we have a pretty large region, and of course Wheatland County and Kneehill County are our two full counties in our region, with all of the smaller towns, the city of Chestermere, and our villages and hamlets that are within that. So our organization, we're a nonprofit organization. We're community led and owned, meaning that we have a group of shareholder communities that are appointed to our board of directors. And together with our shareholders, we optimize the use of our $6 million investment fund that will support our strategic priorities throughout our region. The services that we provide, our first one that we do are our business loans, and we can loan up to $150,000 for business startups or expansion, or maybe some maintenance capital needed for rural entrepreneurs. We also provide business training and workshops. Quite often we'll do those training and workshops with our ecosystem partners like post-secondary institutes, as well as with our municipalities. We'll work on joint initiatives. We also provide business planning and counseling services. So as a business, if you're looking to start up or to expand and you just need to pivot your business plan, you can come into our office and we'll work through with you on that process. And those services are free of charge. And we also work in an area of community economic development. So where we work with our municipalities, like our economic development officers on the call today, and we will work to find key opportunities and challenges for us to explore to diversify our local area. So I'm here to talk about our succession planning project. This now is going into year 2. And the reason that the project started was there was a growing need identified through some studies that were conducted through the Business Development Bank of Canada, so BDC. And the first stat that they found was that there was almost 60% of Canada's small medium enterprise business owners are 50 and older. 49% of these individuals are expected to exit their business in the next 5 years, and 52% of these expect to sell or transfer their business outside the family. So the stat is really showing that, there's going to be a high need just based on the demographic profile of our entrepreneurs and our businesses. The next statistic that came out through a study of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, the CFIB, backed up the BDC study and found that 51% of businesses have no succession plan at all. 8% of them had a formal plan and 41% have an informal plan. So again, this is leaving a large gap in the need for developing that succession plan so our businesses can remain here within our community to provide places of employment. So I'll be talking a little bit about our project. So like I said, we kicked off our project in April 2020. We will carry this project through right till April 2022. So some of you, if you did participate in the first year, but maybe you want to, retake some of the training, or, you weren't able to participate on the workshops, you're able to still join us here for our second year. And we hope that you will consider. So we have a number of training options and services available to businesses within our CF Wildrose region. The first part is we are working with 2 organizations to provide training and workshops. So the first one is Commercial Ventures, and the second one is the Alberta Family Institute. And I'll go through in further detail on the next slides just to share a little bit about what each is offering. And then the second,
Wendy,
yes.
just wondering if I can ask you a question. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of succession planning, kind of what it is and why businesses need to consider it?
Okay, I could do that. Okay, I can do that now. Okay.
Oh, do you have it later?
I do, but I'll talk about it now because you've
Oh,
asked
sorry.
questions. So that's good. All right. So let me just go back.
Okay.
Okay. So really the need for it is, well, one, we've seen through the studies through BDC and CFIB that there is no succession plan in place. And the succession plans are needed to, one, for family transitions to occur so that the business can stay in operation, right? So there's a lot of dynamics that go on when younger families come in to take over a business, from the previous generation. So our vendors here will provide some resources and training to help with that transition occur, right? So sometimes there can be some conflict or some difficulties in the older generation to the younger generation passing on the business, and they need to have a plan in place and some skill development to occur so that you can begin to work and communicate with each other. Okay, so that plan is really needed to help with that family transition as a first step. The next step, and why it's really important, is there may not be another family member that's coming into that business to take it over, right? So quite often mom and dad have started the business, the families have moved on, the younger generation, and they don't have the desire to take it over. So the succession planning that is offered through this project will also provide the access to the supports to transition it to another buyer that may be wanting to come in and purchase the business. So it's the sustainability of the business, which is, quite often what the parents need, you know, if this is what you're relying on for retirement income, we need to be able to set up a proper plan in place so that that family can then retire. But it's also here for the sustainability of rural communities, or any community for that matter, to ensure that we can continue to provide employment opportunities and keep those businesses here in the region.
Sounds great. Yeah, thanks for that quick overview there.
Yeah, you bet. Okay, I'm just going to skip back ahead here. All right, so there's two different things being offered through this project. So again, the succession training, which will be offered through Commercial Ventures and Alberta Family Institute. And then there's an added benefit through the matching buyers and sellers piece, which succession matching does provide. Okay, so I'm going to go over through each of these three vendors here in the next couple slides. Okay, so Commercial Ventures has been the first vendor or organization that we will be working with. And they provide a series of sessions. So they do three, the first one being the exit planning introductory series. So if you're just looking to find out, well, what is succession planning? Why do I need it? What's all involved? This introductory series will provide entrepreneurs that first glimpse at what is required. The next one of their series that they offer is drafting the exit plan. Okay, so here you will begin to learn the fundamentals of creating a draft exit plan and all of the fundamentals that go along with that. And then the next one will be selling your business. So after you've created that plan and you've identified what the next steps will be, if it's selling it to an outside buyer, then you're going to want to know what that transition process involves, right? From valuing the business, etc. Now they do those, there's three series that are offered and they are done in 4 1.5-hour sessions. So you're looking at about 6 hours per series. All right. So if you do all three, you're looking at about 18 hours just to attend the workshops. And that will give you a really good basis of what you need to then develop and finalize your plan. And of course, there will be some outside time involved with that development as well, but you're at a minimum looking at 18 hours. Okay. So we have our series, the introductory exit planning has already occurred. So that one is now expired. But our next two sessions are beginning on June 3rd and then again on, June, actually both begin on June 3rd, both at the same time, sorry. So you'll begin to looking at drafting your exit plan and selling your business. And those sessions will run throughout June and July. Okay, so that's with Commercial Ventures. Commercial Ventures is a great organization to assist those businesses that are for-profit businesses. And particularly if you don't have a family successor in place. So that's where I would recommend succession planning for those types of businesses. The next vendor is the Alberta Family Institute. And they will begin, they've got two series that are starting up here again in June. And the first one is communication and conflict management. And the second one is establishing a family council and developing a family constitution. And each of these training sessions are 2 hours in duration. And these will complement nicely as well with Commercial Ventures. So even if you just decide to do Commercial Ventures, and you can also go into the Alberta Family Institute, particularly if you're transferring over to a family-run business. Okay. There will be more fall and winter courses announced with the Alberta Family Institute in late August. We're just working to finalize our fall and winter training sessions. Those sessions will include some of the core courses that Alberta Family Institute provides, and we'll get that full list here in August. We will rerun the communication and conflict management and family council and constitution workshops. As well, there will be additional workshops on developing an advisory board and an ownership council and the policies that go along with that. Now, the Alberta Family Institute is a great program for those businesses that are successioning on to another family member. So that would be the stream that I would recommend family transition businesses enter into.
Are those courses, Wendy, done at your own pace, or are they streamed at certain times? Or?
They are streamed at certain times, and I haven't heard yet if they're going to record them this year, but they did record them last year. And then people could watch them again for later viewing. But we do really recommend that you actually attend the workshop, because the advisory support and that mentorship support that you get through actually attending the sessions is just so invaluable. The instructors are just so well educated and informed, and they're just a great resource. So if you have those questions, that is the best time to ask those and get any questions that you have addressed.
Okay, so you have to be online at certain times in order to take part in the sessions.
You do, yeah, and same with the commercial ventures, you have to be online as well.
Understood.
Okay. So I'm just going to go and talk about the last one, which is succession matching. Now, this piece here with succession matching, they do offer some training workshops as well. But the big piece that I really liked about what succession matching is offering is the ability to match buyers and sellers. So, we have many businesses here that, may have been for sale throughout the region, whether it's a farm or, a small retail shop, whatever that business is, can go into this portal with a coupon code that we provide you through CF to gain access to their buyers and sellers portal. So once you create that portal or that profile, you can go in and list your business for sale. And then there's also a buyer's piece, and they go in and create a profile. So then they list, what it is that they're looking for at buying for investment. And succession matching can then do a matching piece to match those buyers and sellers through that portal. So the value for that is a $2,000 value if you were to go and enter that portal outside of our project scope. We're providing that coupon for a $25 price for those businesses that are for sale. Now, if you're also listed with, currently you may be listed with a realtor, you can still gain access into this portal. It's not here to replace a realtor in what they provide and can do. This is merely another channel and another opportunity for businesses to list and promote their business that is for sale. Okay. Now, one of the requirements for entering into the portal as a seller is that you do have to attend one succession matching workshop. So, and we'll have that full list of summer workshops here listed soon. And we'll have summer, and I believe there's going to be some more fall and winter dates listed. Okay, so we can work with you to obtain that coupon, and you would just contact myself directly, and I'll provide my contact information at the close of the presentation. I should mention succession matching is also really, they're a nonprofit themselves. So they are a great resource for nonprofit businesses that are looking at setting up a succession plan. So if you were a pure nonprofit business, I would promote you into the succession matching stream and recommend you participate in their training workshops. Commercial Ventures is also another nonprofit stream that would work well.
Wendy, are there certain type of businesses that succession matching helps? Or is there a scope of what type of businesses can partake, or is it open to just about every kind of small, medium-sized business?
Yeah, it's open up to really any type of business. So yeah, there's no limitation, but that small, medium kind of enterprise business is the ideal size.
Okay, and you mentioned farms as well. Are farms part of the system as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Farms can participate. Actually, I'm just going to touch base on that on the next slide. So that was a great question. So what types of businesses can participate? Well, all businesses require a succession plan. So even at a startup phase, you need to begin thinking about how do you plan on transitioning that business out. So this whole project is open to small and medium businesses. We're looking for profit and not for profit businesses that require plans. Could be farms and ranches as well. And again, businesses currently for sale that need assistance in finding that potential buyer. Okay. And again, these businesses that can participate, because we have 8 CFs participating in this initiative, it pretty much promotes to the greater part of Southern Alberta, with the exception of a couple small CF offices that are participating. So it's pretty widespread. So yeah, for this podcast, if it carries on in outside of the CF Wild Rose region, chances are it's also available in another CF region. Okay. So the advantages to participating. So what will the businesses get for participating in the succession planning workshops and the buyer and seller piece? They will gain access to the training and resources. So that unlimited availability to those advisors to connect with throughout the training. Those resources are there for your reference for future. Okay, so some great training and resources and supports. The access to the succession experts and advisors, and that is so fundamental and so key to this project. The access to channels to help you in selling your business. So again, through that succession matching portal. Ultimately, and our whole goal of this whole project is for businesses to obtain a well-developed succession plan so that you can use that plan to communicate to any new potential buyers. You can use that for an intergenerational family transition plan. So the idea is to get this succession plan created. You will have improved communication and management within your family circle or unit. And you will also develop a transition team as you retire and sell. So you may need that advisory support and counsel support. And ultimately as well is that, by keeping the business here and successioning it out, you will maintain employment opportunities within rural Alberta and particularly within our CF Wild Rose region. Now, what is the cost to participating in the succession planning workshops? All the workshops are free. You just need to simply register for them. And the only cost, and that would be as if you do plan to list your business through the portal through succession matching, and that's at $25. And I should note that there are limited coupons available. So each CF was provided about 10 to 12 coupons for businesses. So if this is something that you're looking to seek out, then I would recommend contacting our office, as soon as possible, and so that we can connect you with a coupon code and you can gain access to that portal. Okay. So for more information, you can visit our website at wildrose.alberta, ALBERTA, and in there you will find the business succession planning and matching link. Alternatively, you can also email me here at our office, Wendy Gerbrandt. So Wendy, WENDY G, at Alberta, ALBERTA, And you can also call into our office at 403-934-8888. And I'm at extension 3. So that's what I have on succession planning. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take any additional questions you may have.
Wendy, it's Jacqueline. Just looking at the website, it says that the introductory course is a prerequisite to the other two. Can they be done in reverse? So we do have one starting June 3rd, but could we potentially take that one first and then look at the introductory at a later session?
We can do that. We can work with the vendor to make that happen.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wendy, I have a question. So for the previous year that it ran, was there a good uptake of businesses in the region that took part in the program of succession matching?
I think in total for our first year, we had 12 businesses participate. So not as many as we had hoped for sure, but we are getting a lot more traction on it. Given that we launched this project right at the start of COVID, definitely didn't help, the situation. But yeah, we've had a total of 12 businesses participate in the program to date. That's just in our region. I don't have the full numbers for all of the 8 CFs, but I do know that there was some regions that were seeing upwards of about 25 to 30 businesses.
And Wendy, can you share any data on how successful were those processes for those businesses? Like how effective was it?
Right. So the ones that we spoke to from our region, it was definitely very helpful in them at least starting to think about the next steps that needed to occur. And of those businesses, they are beginning to work on a plan. We do actually have a partner meeting coming up. I believe it's next week, where they're going to share the data for our first year. So I don't have the full report yet for the first year on the full successes. I can only share with what I know from the clients that we've worked with.
Okay.
Yeah, so plans are coming and much needed. We've had really great feedback on the workshops themselves. I've sat in the Alberta Family Institute training, and I am absolutely blown away by the knowledge and the expertise that group has had. And again, I've heard, similar comments about commercial ventures and succession matching as well. But I did sit in the Alberta Family Institute, and it's just absolutely amazing.
You might not have this information as of yet, but do you have an idea the businesses that have registered to take it so far? Do you know where they are in their business life cycle? If they're more at the end looking for that succession, or if they're more the startups just preparing their business plans?
The ones that we had were all ones that were in need of a plan. They're that 5, maybe even a little bit earlier, but that 5 to 10 year mark is really when you should start even looking at preparing a plan. So that's kind of what we were seeing that were coming into the program. Some of them were, a little younger than that. They were probably a couple of years away, but most of them are around that 5 to 10 year mark.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so if I have no other questions, like I say, don't hesitate to reach out by email or contacting our office or our website. We will be updating our website here in the next couple of weeks as we get additional information for fall winter sessions, and I'll be clearing out any of the prior workshops that occurred. So I thank Patrick and Wheatland County for having me on the call today.
Sounds good. Thanks, Wendy. And also, you put a lot of information and stuff on your Facebook feed, and I believe you have Twitter as well.
Yes, we're on Twitter. A little more quiet on Twitter, but definitely Facebook would be the channel that you would want to follow.
Sounds good. Great. So, yeah, if we have no other questions, thanks for talking about succession planning with us today, Wendy. And we're looking to basically do another WC conversation and talk about, can you give us a little bit of a hint on what we're going to do on that one?
You bet. So yes, I've been invited back on June the 9th, and for that one, we're going to talk about another new project that we've just been awarded, and it's called the Mastering Your Recovery. So this project will work to support or provide supports for our entrepreneurs and businesses on marketing and mental health related topics and resources. So that project will work to assist our entrepreneurs in developing strategies and action plans, as well as provide training to prepare businesses for the recovery phase as a result of COVID-19. So our project will open for registration in June. So we expect to launch it June 1st, and it will run right through till December 31st of this year. And again, we will post the information on our website at www.wildrose.albertacf.com. And the full information should be up on our site next week. We are going to be, it's going to be a limited program. So we are looking for 30 businesses into each stream so we can gain supports for up to 60 businesses. So my recommendation would be to register early into those programs. And we're really, really thankful for our sponsors that have brought this opportunity forward. So the Community Futures Rural Opportunities Fund, Community Futures Wild Rose, the town of Strathmore, Kneehill County, and the village of Acme have all been our financial contributors. And we're also very pleased with our project partners in support of our initiative: Wheatland County, Town of Three Hills Chamber of Commerce, and the village of Linden. So we look forward to launching this out here next week. And again, don't hesitate to give me a call here at the office if you just wish to discuss further. And the number is 403-934-8888, extension 3.
Sounds excellent. So we'll look at, I'll set up the next meeting for this, and we'll go in a lot deeper dive on this program that Wendy's bringing out on June 1st. But we'll do this WC conversation on June the 9th at 10 a.m. and it'll be a live conversation. So we'll welcome everybody in to attend that. And please sign up through Eventbrite. I'll have the link on the WC, infinitewc.ca website today. And again, thanks, Wendy. And thanks, Jamie and Jacqueline, for coming in and giving Wendy the questions that she definitely answered. And sounds great. And thanks again, Wendy, for sharing succession planning information with us and these great programs that you're working with. And yeah, thanks.
Great. Thank you very much for having me.